The first child ever born carried hope, a future beyond the fall, a chance to begin again. After everything that was lost in Eden, this was something new, something hopeful. But that same man would become the first to take a life. Not out of hunger, not out of survival, but out of something far more dangerous. Something that begins quietly and grows in the shadows of the heart. Jealousy. Eden was gone. The garden, no longer their home. The ground was harder now, the days heavier. Life no longer effortless. Adam and Eve knew what perfection felt like, and now they lived without it. Every sunrise reminded them of what they had lost. But life continued, and in time, they had sons. Cain, the firstborn, the one who carried expectation, the one who would lead. And Abel, his younger brother, quiet, observant, a shepherd. Two lives growing in the same broken world, but shaped in very different ways. Cain worked the ground, the same ground that had been cursed, the same soil that demanded sweat and effort. Every harvest was hard-earned, every fruit a result of labor. And over time, something began to form in him, a sense of ownership, of pride. This is mine. I worked for this. Abel's life was different. He tended sheep, watched over them, cared for them, protected them. There was patience in his work, stillness, and somewhere in that stillness, a deeper awareness, a recognition that everything comes from God. Two brothers, same world, same upbringing, but two very different hearts. Then came a moment that would reveal everything. A moment of offering. Both brothers came before God. Cain brought fruit from the ground, the result of his effort. Abel brought the firstborn of his flock, the best he had. On the surface, both gave, but God does not look at the surface. He looks at the heart. And he saw something different. Abel's offering was accepted. Cain's was not. No explanation given, no detailed reasoning, just a moment that exposed what was inside. And in Cain, something shifted. It didn't happen all at once. It rarely does. At first, it was just a thought. Why him? Why not me? Then comparison, then resentment, and then anger. Not loud, not explosive, but quiet, heavy, growing. His face changed, his posture shifted, and God saw it. Before anything happened, before any action was taken, God intervened. Why are you angry? Why has your face fallen? A question, not to accuse, but to awaken. If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? The path was still open. Cain could still turn back. Then came the warning. Sin is crouching at your door. Not far away, not distant, right there, waiting. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. This was the moment where everything could have changed. But Cain said nothing. Time passed. but the anger remained, unspoken, unchecked, unresolved. And what is not confronted begins to control. Cain approached his brother. "Let's go to the field." Nothing unusual, nothing alarming, just two brothers walking together. Into silence, into isolation, into a moment that would never be undone. And there, in the field, Cain made his choice. Not forced, not accidental, chosen. And with one act, the first life was taken. Brother against brother, and the world changed again. Silence. No witnesses, no applause, no victory, only stillness. And then, the voice of God. "Where is your brother Abel?" The same question once asked of Adam. And Cain answered, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Deflection, distance, denial. But truth cannot be buried. The voice of your brother's blood cries out from the ground. Even the earth testified. The ground he worked would no longer yield for him. The place that gave him identity was taken. He would become a wanderer, restless, unsettled, marked, not just outwardly but inwardly. And yet, he was not destroyed. He was allowed to live, to carry the weight, to feel the consequence, to remember. Cain's story did not begin with murder. It began with something small, a thought, a comparison, a quiet resentment. Sin rarely announces itself loudly. It grows in silence. And even when confronted, even when warned, Cain chose to ignore it. And that choice led to destruction. We may not stand in a field with a brother, but we face the same battle. Moments where something small begins to grow inside us. Jealousy, anger, bitterness. And the question remains, will we confront it or let it grow? Because even now, sin waits at the door. But this story doesn't end with Cain. Because while one brother chose jealousy, the other chose faith. And even though his life was taken, his story still speaks. Next is the story of a man whose faith cost him everything. If this story spoke to you, consider subscribing and walk with us through the lives of those who shaped history through faith, failure, and redemption.